What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today, it's an underground gem, the Convicts, on the Great Debaters, y'all. Alright, we're back here on the Great Debaters, y'all. Please, as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button right there here on Unique Access Entertainment. That really helps us out, helps us keep growing and getting to more people, and enables us to keep coming to you guys as often as possible with as many interviews as possible and more episodes of the Great Debaters. Now today, Amir, Rahimi, and I are talking about the Convicts. Now this album came out in 1991, the first and only album from Big Mike and 3-2. A phenomenal piece of work in my opinion. So Amir, before we get into the top three picks, what were your thoughts first hearing the Convicts album?
Man, so there's a sticker on pretty much all the albums or hip hop albums that we own. It's called the Parental Advisory sticker, and it's usually placed at the bottom left or bottom right of an album. This one, I feel like you need to put like 4 of those on there. The front, the back, their outfits just everywhere, because this is an album that I don't think could come out today and last very long without anything happening.
Without an uproar.
Without an uproar, that's for sure.
Of the highest proportions.
Man, this album could not come out today. But when I first heard it, I was laughing a lot. I think this is one of those albums that I don't know if they were trying to be funny. I don't know what they were doing, but it ended up being a funny album, and also, as Soren said, an underground gem, because this is an album that I don't really see anyone talking about, but I've mentioned this in other videos. Rap Lot Records is one of those record labels that when I see their logo, I'm going to buy it. If I haven't heard it, if I have heard it, I'm just going to buy it because I trust that I will like the product, or at least most of the product, or I'll get some great features from other great artists on that label. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into my first pick. This is for the Convicts, and I really like that intro. The singing is awesome. I wasn't expecting that in the beginning, but anyways, 3-2 and Big Mike do great on the song. I think, like I said, the singing in the beginning, I feel like it's going to be like that for the whole song, but then you just hear the rapping come in. The chorus is dope. I think this song is like a good... It's a good song to basically kind of put you on for the album and showing like who the Convicts are. This is for the Convicts. Just this album in general, it's very hard for me to even pick my songs, to be honest with you, because I think everything is very consistent on this release. From track 1 to the last track, I don't think there's anything really that really stands out from one or the other, because I think all the songs are potent and great and on like the same playing field. But one thing I do want to mention before I move on to my next pick, or before Soren moves on to his first pick, is the track names on this album are just hysterically funny. And that's something I just had to just point out, because if you don't have this album and you want to listen to it, I suggest you do that. But also just looking at how comical these track names are, like I'll just name a couple of them. We got $1-900 Crook, we got I Love Boning, Wash Your Ass, Whoop Her Ass, like Illegal Aliens, Fuck School. There's just so many hilarious song names, and the songs, trust me, are great and funny and all that. But anyways, I had to shout that out. This is for the Convicts. My first track. What's your, Soren?
This is for the Convicts is also one of my top 3 picks off the Convicts album, because the intro and the singing is actually originally appeared on the OG Style album, also released by Rap A Lot, and Big Mike and I talk about that in one of my interviews. So if you haven't watched that yet on Unique Access, definitely, there's the link for it, so make sure to check it out. But as far as the genius of the Convicts, I just love the flow between Big Mike and 3-2, and this one, because of the breakbeat, which we were starting to get a little bit away from by the time we get to 1991, we were still toward the end of that era. But this one, the way they flow and their different voice and stylistic patterns, I just think works so well. And it's a very muscular song because of the drums and the breakbeat, and I feel like that really drives home the fact that these dudes are master lyricists, master flowers, and I think A lot of the time, especially in '91, people didn't look at the South as this hotbed of lyricism, and still don't, sadly. But very early on in the game, Big Mike and 3-2 were definitely showing that the South has something to say. The South's got great rappers, and the South is going to be a force, and already was a force. And This Is for the Convicts, to me, just shows that, and their different styles and flows and patterns and everything. I just thought it was great, and I thought it was an amazing song. So what's your second pick, Amir?
So my second pick, like I said, it's hard, but my second pick is the one right after this one, and it's Fuck School.
Okay.
I think just the name is awesome, but hearing 3-2's perspective on why he chose to name the song that and why he believes that the school system is not for him is quite funny. And also, too, like, just taking away the funny aspect of it, you know, a lot of what he's saying is true to an extent. I mean, you know, living in California, for me, it's very hard to get a job for a lot of people, especially if you don't have the right connections and sources and all that stuff. So one of his lines in there, which to me is funny, but also it could ring true, he's like, you can get an education and still end up, you know, running a trash truck. And it's like, I can see that happening. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It's like hard to get a job out here. And I don't know how it is in Texas or was at the time, but the point is, that's valid. And then the hilarious part, like, just getting back into the comedy of it, where he says the best part of school is when that motherfucker's over. I'm just like, I mean, he's right, I guess. It's pretty hilarious. And then the person who's harassed him for a hall pass and, like, all these other things, he's like, teachers talk to you with their breath smells like shit. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? But the lyrics are hysterically funny. It does have replay value. I do like the beat. It's just like an enjoyable track. It's one to like show the homies and be like, just listen to what 3-2 is saying, man. This guy's hilariously funny. And that's just really honestly with this album, it's so strong in that regard that you just want to like show this to your friends, the ones who won't judge you too much. And it's just like, just listen to this, man. This album is crazy. So that's my track too.
Fuck School's not one of my picks, although for all those reasons I love it and I think it's hilarious at the same time. My second pick is going to have to be $1-900 Crook, because the layers and the levels of criminology that is depicted or that are depicted on this song is just amazing. Big Mike's talking about robbing cars. Every person on their verse has a different thing that they're specializing in or that the person is calling in about. And these type of songs, you know, with the 1-900 LL Cool J, later on we see with Jay-Z with the 1-900 Hustler, there's these different hotlines that people have used over time, and this was one of the first ones, and this was definitely a shocking one in the sense that, hey, here's how you rob a car, or hey, here's how, it's just like, what? So it was just, to me, so ingenious, but also diabolical, which I think the Convicts really walked that line from the supreme lyricism, the supreme, like, criminality, and then the production is just phenomenal, and the execution of all this stuff, literally and figuratively, is just masterful in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also love the features on there, man. It's I believe the longest song on the album, so it's very interesting. I really like that whole mashup. It was excellent, and I'm happy that we got that feature. And also we saw Big Mike on the Ghetto Boys album, Till Death Do Us Part.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was like a little precursor to that.
Helped pave the way.
Super dope.
So then what's your third pick on the Convicts album, Amir?
Third pick is actually the last song, and this is possibly, if you weren't offended throughout the album, this is the one that's going to get you. This is Illegal Aliens, and to be honest, well, first off, the first lyric of the song will probably turn a lot of people off just right there. But this is the first song, I'm an Iranian American, so this is the first song I'd ever heard anyone call out Iranians ever. So when I heard that Big Mike, I think it was Big Mike who was basically dissing the Iranians and maybe the Japanese, and he basically said that, and I was just laughing, dude. I was like, this is pretty funny, and who knows how serious, how not serious he was. I'm not entirely sure. I would assume it's a little bit of both, but it was definitely interesting to hear, you know, the perspectives of 3-2 and Big Mike on the you know, immigrant situation, the foreigners, and you hear like the sample in the song, I feel like I'm in a foreign country. It's like he's just in his state. And they bring up the points where it's like, well, they're trying to get a job, they're convicts, but then these other ethnicities are coming in and doing it for half the price, and like they can't get a job, and they're not singling out, like you'd think, you know, Big Mike and 3-2 in general would just like dislike whites or something like that, but this song, they're talking about Hispanics, they're talking about Middle Easterns, they're talking about Asians, they're even talking about Nigerians. So they're talking, and they single out Cubans too. They're talking about as many people as you can think, and they're just letting everyone have it. And they're really going in, and they're bringing up, you know, a lot of points that, you know, they want to bring up, and it's just very comical. This is a song that could not fly today, but I'm just like, I think it's one of my favorite songs. I think it's funny, and you know,
to me, it's one of those things. I, of course, don't agree with what they're saying, but I think if people look at it like, it's always one of those weird things, like we allow comedians to say things that in basically any other format or forum would not be acceptable, but they get a pass because they're comedians.
Correct.
That's kind of how I looked at not only that song, but this whole album and basically entertainment in general. You know, if you talk and interview somebody, you know, they'll explain why they said or felt a certain way, but if you just listen to something or watch something, we don't hold movies to the same standard when the writer is writing these horrible characters and they're doing these racist, homophobic, terrible xenophobic things, but, you know, music is different, or this is different, or that is different. So I've never subscribed to that in the sense of, you know, this is horrible or whatever. It's more of, you know, how you choose to react to it, because of course I don't agree with, I think, almost if not anything they say in this song, or really most of the album, but it's phenomenally put together.
I agree, and that's a good closing because you pretty much said what I wanted to say. So
okay,
that's my last pick. What's your last pick?
My last pick is Free World, which is the first song on the album, because I just got this album, The Convicts, back in the day when it came out, sight unseen. I had no idea what it was other than the fact that it was on Rap-A-Lot. So like people, Amir was saying, he buys anything on Rap-A-Lot during the earlier eras. People knew if you bought some on Def Jam or Tommy Boy or Select or Profile or whatever it was, odds are it was going to be a great label, Wild Pitch, Cold Chillin', etc. And Rap-A-Lot had built that up as well. And just to hear Big Mike and 3-2 not knowing really anything about them or anything about this album, and for those that do have it and do know it, there's like no credits, there's no nothing, who's doing what or whatever. You have to really figure it out and assume. Yeah. And for Free World, just 3-2 in particular, man, just his flow and his style is just so incredible to me and so striking.
Yeah.
Big Mike, I've interviewed him many times and talked to him over the years, but it just, Big Mike here compared to Big Mike the solo artist, compared to Big Mike as a member of the Ghetto Boys, you just see his progression stylistically, lyrically, flow, cadence, style, just everything. And, you know, Free World really just sets it off, and it's always a great point of reference when I listen to something that 3-2 did later, something that Big Mike did later, because this is the first song that I recall ever hearing either one of them, and it's such a great song, and it's such a, just shows that these guys are amazing. So I just always love it.
It's true, and for those who do want to listen to this album or pick it up, these are not just buyer beware. These are not easy copies to find. They do get expensive. The vinyl copies average over $150. So
yeah,
just buyer beware. But, you know, you can also listen online. So
yeah, it's on Spotify. It takes a little bit of time to find it, but you can find it because it's not easily labeled and all that. But highly recommended. So those are my 3 picks. You guys got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit us in the comment section. Let us know what you guys think. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to share the Great Debaters and all of our content on Unique Access Entertainment. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir Rahimi.
Convicts, y'all.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It would be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
What's that 5 on your TV back with NWA?
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.